On a wireless mic right now. If you guys have any sound issues, let me know and I will plug my shotgun back in. Peter's on with us. So as of right now, I'm on a wireless lapel mic. So if at any point in time you guys hear any sound issues, be sure to let me know and I'll plug the shotgun back in, and so we can hear, so hopefully the sound hangs in there with us. We don't have much breeze today, but we do get a few gusts here and there, so I wanted to go on this lapel mic if it will cooperate. So please keep me posted if you guys have any issues with sound at all, and I'll go back to the old school. Salty Reese Cup says it's on, sounds good. Yeah, it wasn't connecting there, I had to double check it, so good. Bill says it sounds really clear. Peter says it's good. That's what I like about this new wireless mic that I've got. I just don't know how well it's going to hold up, how it's going to hang in there on a big live like this. So, but I've got a little deal in my pocket here. I got this little monitor thing here. As long as it stays connected, hopefully you guys can hear me. If not, I'll plug the shotgun in. It'll go straight into my phone and we'll go with that. So Al says it's good. He's on with us. So anyway, happy Easter to everybody. Hope everybody had a good one. I know we're going to eat a little later tonight, but I was out at the yard getting some work done. I know you guys have been wanting a live from the yard. Pretty nice day today, nice and bright and sunny. Little breeze, but not bad. Bill says let's just get on an Easter egg hunt and get after it. So, as always, questions, comments, I try to catch all that I can. Once we get in the middle of this thing, sometimes we get a pretty decent crowd on here and it can be tough to keep up with them. I will try to catch as many of them as I can. As always, check your autocorrect. If I can't make sense out of your comment because the autocorrect changed it, then I skip it and go to the next one because I can't keep up with them all. So, as always, just throw them out there. We'll try to get to them. Appreciate you guys hanging out today. Tell your friends we're on in case they want to go wander around with us. And let's go check out some cars. So, Dan says loud and clear with him as well. Salty Reese, do you sell any cars for project builds? Absolutely. I've got tons of complete projects here. In fact, Buzz with Roadkill Motors just listed a whole bunch of them on his website as well. But yeah, I've got a lot of complete project stuff here. We sell everything from door handles all the way up to restored cars. So a little bit of everything. Standing here in front of some of our A-body GM stuff right now. And I'm just going to start wandering, and anybody till I start getting comments of what people want to see. 79 F350. Bill says hit the like button. Appreciate that, Bill. Yeah, I know you've always got my back on that. In fact, that speaking of projects, there's a real clean 72 Ford pickup right there. Just a regular half-ton long bed, but original paint, pretty clean old truck. So yeah, I sell a lot of good project cars too. Daniel's on with us, says happy Easter. And like I said, I'm just going to start wandering until I start having people wanting to see specific stuff. Some of our 50s era GM cars. Got a few more I need to get out of here. 71 Granville convertible and that 65 Coupe de Ville need to go to a different section as I'm shuffling some stuff around here. But this whole group, as you can tell, Salty Reese says, thanks, I had to sell all mine. Any 76 442s, nothing right now. I've got a guy that might be trading one in though. I don't know if it's a 75 or 76, but you can kind of look back there, you see a lot of the 40s and 50s big GM cars. Actually, a lot of the Buicks, Jason's on with us, a lot of the Buicks that we brought in from Dad's have been moved into this section right here. Super cool 68 New Yorker. Another great project there, 65 Chrysler Newport 383 automatic, buckets, console, floor shift. Cammy from Central New York's on with us. Whole group of binders, a bunch of internationals in that group there. Empty hole right there where that 69 Roadrunner was sitting. Yeah, it left this morning on the way to its new home. Be sure to check out Pole Barn Garage because that's where that 69 Roadrunner went. Dan, still have the DeSoto wagon. It's a 55. We're actually pretty close to it. Chris is on with us, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name. So, but yeah, be sure to check out Pole Barn Garage and the Holy Goat because that 69 Roadrunner that was just sitting right there is on the way there. Number one's here. We'll swing by that 55 DeSoto wagon because it's right here in this group while we're close to it. Plus, it's just a super cool car anyway, and I love to check it out. Cam, do you have any 73 Fury 3s? Do not have any 73 Fury 3s at all right now. There she is in all her glory. Big Job's on with us. DeSoto. DeSoto V8, yep, that's right, because it's still got its Hemi in it. 55 DeSoto station wagon. Fire dome. Pretty much a complete car, other than somebody got the grill out of this probably for a street rod years and years ago. But there she is. Super, super cool wagon. I need to get this thing out of the middle of this block and get some good pictures of it, because somebody needs to do something with that car. I think there were less than 2,000 of those cars built, so not a ton of those around. VWs and Carmen Gias, they are not right here, but that's a good direction to head, number one. We'll just head that direction and work our way back that way. 70 Le Mans four-door, or Tempest four-door, actually. I don't even think this one's a Le Mans. Yep, Tempest. 69 Mustang, 41 Chevy pickup, 56 Lincoln. There's the old retract, 58 Ford retract. And since number one wants to see some Volkswagens, we'll head that way. Dan says, way too cool, thanks again, you bet. You ought to own that thing. Bill says, happy Easter, see everybody tonight at 7. That's another good point, Bill, glad you brought that up. I will be back on at 7 o'clock tonight. I got to go eat dinner, but I will be back on at 7 tonight for Sunday night live chat. Some super cool badges tonight. Actually, the final badge from the Wichita Swap Meet, the most epic badge out of the batch. Considering they've all been pretty epic, this one's pretty special. So don't want to miss that. We're going to check out the magazine that Brian sent us the other night. Going to go kind of a different direction with the magazine tonight, because it's not our standard typical car magazine. It's a car magazine, but it's not what we usually look at. So it's going to be a little different tonight. Plus, we're going to do some trivia, and we are definitely going to auction off another badge and some super cool oil cans. So definitely be on with us at 7 o'clock tonight for Sunday night live chat. As we work our way back towards some VWs. Bunch of stuff sitting around the edges that just hasn't gotten put away yet. 48 Ford, 52 Buick Roadmaster. That's one of the last few from Dad's that hasn't gotten put away yet. Number one, are we doing an Easter egg hunt for treasures in the glove boxes or mat pockets? Nah, probably not today. Let's see, we'll head over towards that corner over there. That's where there's a few Volkswagens at over there. International Scout that came in a few months back. Lots of cabs. Whole bunch of sheet metal that hasn't gotten put away. Come out of another old salvage yard a year or two ago. I got drug in and stacked there. Needs to be resorted and put away. Lots more truck cabs, truck beds. Jason's a sweet tea for the low life today. Pickup boxes that come in that old salvage yard step-side Chevy. Some of this stuff isn't that old, but it's getting old. Ranger, square S10s, short beds for square S10s. You know, kind of crazy to think about. Those things are 30 to 40 years old now. A batch of Dodges. Chris says, great selection of cabs. Yeah, that's just a tiny bit of them. Aston says, happy Easter. As of right now, Chris, I think there's at least over 100 cabs off on the ground right now. Number one still wants me to give away a car. More cabs. And let's see, any Pontiac engines I've got. It depends on what you want. I don't have any 421s. I've still got 455s. I've still got a few 400s. Just depends on what you want. Here's a few Volkswagens. Here's a Carmen Ghia right here. No drivetrain in this one, but you know, a lot of other little bits and pieces still left on this one. I've got one other Carmen Ghia, but there's very, very little left of that car. It basically got done, pretty much got run over. But that little Carmen Ghia definitely has some bits and pieces left on it. Couple of Bugs. This one I think is like a 68. This one is like a mid 70s. How are the rockers? They've got some rust in them. They're there, but they're not super clean by any means. This little bug from the 70s, factory sunroof beetle. And like I told you guys earlier, if you have any issues with sound, I am on a wireless lapel mic. So if we lose that, if it goes dead or we lose the charge on it, let me know and I will plug the shotgun mic in. So please let me know if we have any sound issues whatsoever. Another little oddball, little MG. How about some rabbits? Got these two rabbits. I think I got one more that hasn't made it over into the mix yet. But these are actually both Rabbit Diesel. Salty Reese's, is that a Grand Prix over there? There's actually some of them. Jason says we still sound good. Number one, the 70s bug could possibly be a sun bug edition. Well, it's got some funky stripes on it, so maybe you can tell us. There's some weird stripes on the side of that. I don't know if that makes it a sun bug or what, but it definitely has some weird stripage on it. But yep, there's one Grand Prix. Peter, any 70 to 72 two-door Novas, nothing there at all. I think I've got 3 Grand Prix in this 78, 79 window. I've got this one right here. And there's a black one right there. That silver one's a mid-80s. And there's a green one over here as well. These are pretty much, most of these couple rows right here are all G-body GM. But I guess we can work our way over to the other Carmen Ghia. Stripes are aftermarket. Does it have any sun-shaped badges wearing sunglasses? Let's take a real quick look and see. I don't recall seeing anything like that on this. Let's see. I don't see anything that looks like any stickers with sunglasses on this little bug. Nothing on the inside, so apparently not. Apparently it's just one with a sunroof that somebody put some stickers on. But we can head over to the remains of the other Carmen Ghia, since it's not terribly far away from here. Plus, you can see how bad that car really is. And as always, if you've got any questions about any of this stuff, after we get off of here or any other time, just give me a call. 620-786-4428. That number is on all my videos. I'll try to remember to go in and edit it into this one afterwards. Eloy made it, says it might be a dealer rally edition on the bug, okay? Give me a call. I've got 1,500 cars and trucks on the ground. I need, having a conversation about what you need, year, make, model, body style, all that is information I need. I never get that on text, emails, any of that stuff, so I don't even pay any attention to them. Any satellites? Not that I can think of. There again, depends on what year, but nothing I can think of off the top of my head. When I don't have a year, it's kind of tough to go by. But let's check out this other Carmen Ghia so you can see how bad this thing really is. Here's the other one, or what was formerly known as a Carmen Ghia. This thing got hit hard hit. So I don't know what hit it. This is how I found it, but it got piled up really bad. Then somebody cut part of the roof open on it. I don't know for sure why they did that, but this thing got plowed from behind. The front end is not terrible, actually. There's still some bits and pieces on the front of this little Carmen Ghia, but man, this thing got wiped out hard. Number one says package deal on the Ghias. I just have to go through them and see what all's left on them for pieces. But, because like I said, the front of this car's got a lot of good stuff on it yet, so. Anyway, some more of the new inventory. I'm just starting to get sorted out. The 61 Impala, the 83 F-150. Shopcat like the Carmen Ghias too. So these, we've just recently posted videos on pretty much all of these. If there's anything here that you like, be sure to go back and catch the videos on those as well. The 54 Olds. The 70 C10, this is a really great pickup. Not hardly any rust in it. I think there was one cab mount that had some rust in it when I looked up underneath this old truck. This is a pretty clean old truck, just exactly as I picked it up off the old farmstead. Old 77 Dodge. Check out the hood ornament on the 54 Olds 88. The iconic Olds Rocket hood ornament. That one still looks pretty decent. That's just such a great looking piece. Sneak peek for what's coming up here pretty soon. How about this 36 Chrysler? Just did a video on this one. We'll have it up soon. This one come from the load out on the western Kansas prairie. Just here recently. Salty Reese's Cup digs the Oldsmobile. Yeah, in fact, why don't we check out the rear of that thing? 70s cami, I think on satellites, do not have any of those, no, at all. Got the Rocket 88 on the trunk. There again, there was no need for that. It just looks so great. You know, the globe on the trunk handle, so much detail on this stuff back in the day. There's the old Dodge from the other side. How about what's hiding behind the Dodge? 57 Chevy 3600 Napco. That's something you definitely don't see every day. These old Napco trucks. Still got the lockout hubs. See if we can take a peek under this thing here real quick. There it is. There's the original Napco tag. The Olds is a 54, number one. Northwestern Auto Parts Company, Napco. Jump over here, 78 F-150. This is a pretty decent old truck. It's got a little rust in it, but complete intact. What's cool about this thing, all the old late 70s, early 80s accessories. The big flat steel grill guard, the bug off bug deflector, the diamond plate step boards with the diamond plate mud flaps. The toolbox is just sat across the back, the steel metal painted toolbox. I mean, everything, literally everything one of these trucks had in 1979 is on this truck. Tailgate protector. Rear step bumper. Local truck, Spruil's of Great Bend. Spruil's was our Ford dealer back at that point in time, so probably been here in Great Bend its whole life. Probably built in Kansas City, I wouldn't be surprised. Just a pretty slick old complete F-150 Ranger. Inside, everything's intact. Everything is intact under the hood. Getting tougher and tougher to find these things all the time. 39 Chevy half-ton pickup. Still got a lot of the nose pieces left on this one. Old Plymouth. 56 Buick Special, two-door post, factory tritone paint, red, white, and black. In its day, I bet that was a pretty sharp car, especially kind of a basic, plain, special two-door post. 64 Chevy. Just your basic little Bel Air four-door. Big twin, 39 pickup's cool. Yeah, it's kind of a neat old truck. It's, there again, found it out in the middle of a section of ground, fresh off the farmstead, so. What direction should we go? Anybody wants to see anything, let me know. There's the old 53 Chevy 6100. That one's getting ready to head to its new home. There's the old diesel Suburban. Did videos on both those trucks here recently. Here's the other Rabbit. Kind of got stuck over here in a corner until I get time to get it put away. So I'm just kind of wondering if somebody sees something, be sure to let me know. Kind of work our way over here. Any Mustangs? Some, just depends on what you're interested in or what you need. This stuff here, Camaros, tons of Camaros. I've probably got Between Firebirds and Camaros, 50 or 60 of them on the ground. A little 65 Falcon, late 60s, early 70s, two-door Pontiac. There again, depends on what you want. I've got some. It depends on what you want. We're getting ready to walk through some of the big cars here real quickly. This whole corner here is just kind of a dropping point where some stuff got dumped here recently. Need to get it sorted and put away. But speaking of, let's see, we got some comments here. Salty Reese's forward trunk gunners on a 66 fastback Mustang don't have any fastbacks. Daniel, the V8 Falcon, yes, it is a Falcon. The Falcon is a V8, excuse me. Cammy, 80 square body Chevys. I do have some square body Chevys as well. This Falcon is a V8 automatic. Still see the 289 badge on it. But a lot of good little bits and pieces there. 60, 61 Chevy truck. I've got several of them just in various conditions depending on what you need. There's a 63 right there that just got, basically that got rolled off the trailer right there. Needs to get put away. But this whole area right here, and we'll walk through some of it, is going to be 1959 to 1970 full-size GM cars. Now I've got part of this stuff done. We'll see a lot of Chevrolets right here on the edge. This isn't where they're going to go, but it's where I had room to put them. So that's why they're here on this edge, because this is, Ron from England is on with us. Glad you made it today, Ron. Thanks for joining us from England. So 64 Bel Air wagon, 63 Impala, 64 Bel Air, 69 Impala. So all these Chevys are just here. They're going to get reshuffled. Mike, chrome for a 52 Chevy hardtop. Do not have any hardtops. I've probably got 30 49 to 52 Chevys, but none of them are hardtops. So we'll kind of start wandering through here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Can you show the Roadrunner that pole barn once? Actually, I can't because he just left with it. So it's on his trailer, headed east as of right now. He left 3 or 4 hours ago with it. He may be close to getting home with it. So no, it's gone. We got her loaded up. I'll have a video up on it tomorrow night or Wednesday night. We'll see when I get it finished up and put together. But no, it's gone. He's on the road with it right now. We walked past the hole where it was at a little bit ago. So, but as you can see, these are Buicks. Most of these came in from Dad's place. A few of these I had, but a lot of these did come from Dad's. I've got some of these sorted. My Buicks and Pontiacs are just about done. My Pontiacs are pretty much done in this 1959 through 1970 era of full-size GM cars. Those Buicks back there still need to be sorted. But as you can see right here, a whole row of 62 Buicks. Then we get into the 63 Buicks. And as we kind of start working our way through here, you'll see that obviously some big finned 60s. A couple of 61s down there on the end. A couple of more 60s up here right in front of these other ones. 70 Catalina, we're just about to come up on one. Eddie, hang in there for a second. The 59 Buicks. This next row, I kind of left it open between the Buicks and Pontiacs, kind of for expansion. But when you have an open row, it gets filled. So all of this stuff is just miscellaneous stuff that's going to be in this area. It just hasn't gotten to its home yet. 67 98, 69 Eldorado, 67 Toronado, and some more Chevys, a 63 Bel Air, a 65 Impala, and a 65 Bel Air. So there again, all this stuff is out of order, but it is going to be in this general vicinity, so it will find its home in the near future. As we get into our Pontiacs, there's the 70 Catalina right there, as well as a pair of 70 Bonnevilles. Eddie England, that's one of my favorites. Yeah, this, in fact, all these 70s are 4 doors. We'll kind of walk around them. Oh, the Tornado, says Salty Reese's Cup. But there's the 70s, as well as, after we get past these 70s, we're into the 67 Grand Prix. 3 67 Grand Prix here right now. Plus, we've also got the 67 Grand Prix that just came in on trade on the 66 Catalina. So we'll be getting you a video on that car as well. You can see a glimpse of it in the Catalina video. But as of right now, I've got these 3 67 Grand Prix in stock right now, plus the 4th one that has not made it back to this area yet where it belongs. Now we get into the 66 Pontiacs. Executive down there on the end, Bonneville Brome, 2 more Bonneville 4-door hardtops, Bonneville 2-door hardtop. And that car, although there's not much left of the reason I bought that car 30 years ago is that is was a factory 421 tri-power Bonneville. The other 67 Grand Prix, yes, HD Big Twin, it is complete. I'll be getting a full video on it here soon. If you want to see it, we'll try to work our way back up to the front where it's at, but you can catch a glimpse of it on the 66 Catalina Pontiac swap video as well. 66 Catalina 2-door hardtop. 64 Pontiacs, Catalina 2-door hardtop, Bonneville Brome, Catalina, Star Chief. So yeah, believe it or not, I am actually getting a few things organized. Doesn't seem like there's ever enough time to get it all done, but I am getting a few things done. A couple of 65s right there. A 60, that's the only 60 that I've got. A couple of 59s, 61. The Tornado, there is no engine or transmission in the Tornado at all. Chris says this is heavens. Well, it's kind of my everyday world. So 62 Bonneville, 62 Catalina 2-door hardtop, and a 9-passenger 62 Catalina station wagon. Something you don't see very often. And not only do we have truck cabs, I've got truck beds lined up everywhere. Beautiful square body dually bed. One dent right there, and it chipped the fender out as well, but there's a replacement fender with it. I can't find any rust in this bed at all. 48 to 52 era Ford, the big bed for the F2, F3. That's a super hard one to find. 60 Chevy short fleet side bed. Short bed international. So we can kind of start working our way up front to look at that old Grand Prix, since that was the last comment I had on something specific. More cabs. We had a comment on cabs earlier. They thought they saw a lot of cabs. Well, that was kind of the tip of the iceberg, because we've got a lot of cabs. A lot of cabs. Cabs, beds, all kinds of old truck parts. In fact, there's right there, those square S10 beds, there's a couple of stacks of new takeoff beds for the 80s era square S10s. So those are new takeoffs. Don't know why they took them off, but they were stacked in the corner of an old salvage yard that they were crushing out, so I bought them and brought them in. Gasser. Gasser 61 from New Zealand. New Zealand on with us. Number one, you need a helmet cam and a BMX to scoot us around. Yeah. I'm trying to not get going too fast so you guys can see stuff, so I'm afraid on a bicycle we would definitely be going too quick for everybody to see stuff. More cabs. And here's another good example. There's a convertible top frame right there. Another good example of why you need to be specific when you call me. That's an extremely hard to find convertible top frame. It's 46 to 48 Plymouth. You know, but there again, I don't have any 47, 48 Plymouth convertibles, but I got some parts for them. 77 Sunbirds, do not have any of those at all. Shopcat, maybe I'll come fetch a 59, 60, 62 style side box from you sometime. There's more cabs, more beds, 30 to 35 Dodge pickups, nothing there at all. My Mopar trucks do not start until the 39 to 47 body style. More stuff that got dumped around the edges. Super cool old Lincoln. That thing would have been stunning in its day. 58 Lincoln 2-door hardtop, black on black. 51 Chevy two-door sedan to purchase the back half for a trailer. That I might have something there. You have to give me a shout and I do some checking and see what I've got. 64 Falcon Futura two-door hardtop. Huh, shockingly, there's another F-body. That probably surprises no one. I've got F-bodies stacked everywhere. Walking past some other old Mopars here. And we'll work our way up to that Grand Prix, so. Since somebody wanted to see that, V-Twin Rider wanted to see that. Some Mopars over here. We've got a few Fords over here. 64 Galaxy two-door hardtop body, 62 Galaxy XL convertible. Some Mercury's, 56 Mercury's two-door and four-door hardtops. Number one says F-bodies are a great giveaway idea, but then I wouldn't have as many F-bodies. I kind of hoard F-bodies actually. A couple of Mustangs, a 68 coupe, a 70 Grande coupe. Actually, that's my problem. I mean, I hoard so many F-bodies, it's kind of crazy. 49 Plymouth three-window coupe. Anybody wants to build a high and mighty, there she is. If you don't know what we're talking about when we're talking about the high and mighty, you got to look that up. The Ram Chargers, the factory engineers for Mopar back in the late 50s, early 60s, built the high and mighty out of a 49 Plymouth three-window coupe just like that one. That's where the Roadrunner was, big empty space. Pole barn's got it now. Headed back to be a garage mate with the Holy Goat. Oh, working way back up through here, kind of where we started. Is the Grand Prix near the Bullet Nose Coupe? No, it's in towards the front part of the yard, but in a little bit different section. Three-window coupe is awesome. Yeah, it's a neat old car. So we'll get up to that Grand Prix here shortly. 37 Eloy, need to talk to you about it. Okay, yeah, give me a call. 37 two-ton truck. Okay, give me a call, Eloy, when you get a minute. This section here is all GM trucks. It does need to be moved because I'm rearranging things. James is on, says Happy Easter. But this whole group here is GM trucks. This 40s to 50s era is GM, is going to 6970 Nova, just one four-door parts car is all. All this stuff's going to have to be moved. The 40s and 50s era GM cars, which we've got some more of right here, as well as right here, I'm going to need all that room for those. Nope, I didn't shoot the Roadrunner up for Dalton. Actually, I don't think we want to shoot that car up any worse. I don't think we need to complicate that situation any more than it already is going to be for Dalton. However, we did do some work on the Roadrunner to try to help him out. When we had the loader out, because I got the loader back, we worked on the roof a little bit with the loader forks. You'll see that in both mine and his videos. My video's from inside the loader, so it wasn't quite as good. He'll have some cool footage on the repairs that we did on the roof of the Roadrunner for him. So I'm going to need more room for these 40s and 50s era GM cars as I keep sorting things out and putting stuff away and trying to get stuff in its home. But here we go, we're coming up on the Grand Prix. We've also got a Mustang over here, and we've had a few questions about Mustangs. Got a little 66 coupe over here that would definitely make a good project car. It's gonna need quarter skins and a little bit of floor patching, but the rails and everything underneath it structurally, definitely a good body. That's right, Dalton's a sucker for punishment. That's true. We actually kind of discussed that a little bit on the videos we did this morning before he left, so. Well, there you go, Big Twin. There's the Grand Prix. And this car is really, really super solid except for the roof. Vinyl top car that did not get the top off of it in time. So it is going to need some roof repair. However, this car did come in with an extra roof clip. The plans were to build this car, but the owner of it, she loved the 66 Catalina way more, so I traded her because she started out in a 66 Catalina, so that's what she wanted, and didn't really want the 67, so she shipped it out here. We swapped them, and she's got her dream car now. So this 67 Grand Prix, maybe it could be somebody else's dream car as well. So Like I said, other than that roof, this is a really solid car, and it's pretty much all intact. So we're going to keep wandering this way. We see some more of these big 50s GM cars with a row of Cadillacs. Love these Cadillacs. These big old 50s Cadillacs just make such a statement. That car right there, first parts car I ever bought when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I actually bought that from my grandpa when I was a little kid, and started selling a few bits and pieces off of it, you know, when I was a little tiny kid. So that actually right there, and you know, I'll never get rid of the car. It'll sit here forever. That was the very first parts car I ever bought, that little 1958 Buick Special. Obviously, you know, it's been a parts car for 40 years, so it doesn't have a ton of good stuff left on it. You know, the grill and all the good stuff's gone, but there's still some bits and pieces there, but really, don't really care. It's just such a cool car. It means so much to me. So that's right, Aston 67 was the only year a Grand Prix convertible was available. Here's an interesting 42 Chevy. 42 Chevy two-door sedan. Front of this car look a little odd to anybody. Jason says hit the like button. Thanks, Jason. Yep, this is an original blackout car. Dark Flamage says the audio is still fine. Perfect, good. If we lose the audio, let me know and I'll plug the shotgun mic back in because I'm running off my lapel mic, which is wireless. So, but yeah, this is an actual blackout 1942 Chevrolet without chrome trim on it. And what's kind of odd, and this has got to be factory original, do you have any of the GM Torpedo slant back fleet lines of the late 40s? I've got a few up sitting around. That's right, Shopcat, no chrome in the war years. However, when we look at this hood ornament, obviously it was painted. It has these little inserts in the side of this piece of metal to make up the hood ornament. This side obviously was all painted, but here's what's weird. They still had a chrome one laying around apparently. This car got one chrome one, one painted one. So kind of unique when you think back about these blackout cars, but that is an actual original blackout 42 Chevy. 66 Coronet two-door hardtop, the remains of one. Bill, while you're in the area, the 69 Ranchero, yep, we can absolutely catch it. It is right here, not too far away. I'm sure you've probably seen that in the Pontiac videos as well. 69 Ford Ranchero. This car's a little rough. It's got some rust in the quarters, things like that, but these things are so tough to find that I went ahead and snagged this one. Or maybe the owner replaced it and couldn't find one from the other side. That's possible as well, but I don't know how you could have lost one of those little inserts out of that hood ornament either. So, but yeah, there's the 69 Ranchero. I've got a full video up on this car as well if you wanted to check it out in a little more detail. But it's got some rust in it. It's not totally complete, but there is a lot of good pieces still there. And like I said, any of the 68, 69 Fairlane Torino body stuff is tough to find. So even though this car was a little rough, I went ahead and snagged it and brought it in. Kind of work our way around the front to these Cadillacs, some of these other big 50s era GM cars. Work our way over towards these A-body GM cars. So, and like I said, if somebody wants to see something, let me know. We can sure head that direction. Some of the A-body 67 Le Mans convertible. The remains of a 70 Chevelle body, 72 Cutlass. 67 Tempest two-door hardtop body, 67 GTO two-door hardtop body, 69 Skylark two-door hardtop. There's the 57 98 we brought in last fall off that big farmstead. '71 Bonneville two-door hardtop. That car's got a lot of potential. I bought that car 25 years ago because it had a 455 in it. bit little any in-style Ford trucks. You have to specify what in-style means. You know, I've got 1,500 cars and trucks, so some of those specific models I'm not familiar with. But I bought this thing 25 years ago because it ran and drove. It's got a 455 in it. I bought it for the motor, but I never pulled it out, so it's still a complete intact car. How many vehicles do you feel I'm up to now? I think I'm around that 1,500 area. I may be a little more than that, but I say 1,500 because I'm pretty comfortable around that 1,500 number. 77 Olds 88 two-door. 64 Ford Custom two-door post. '61 to '69 Ford truck. I've got pickups, but there's obviously different bodies. Oh, cab overs in '61 to '69 cab overs. I've got one cab, so we can walk over by it. We went and passed it a little bit ago, but we're kind of working our way back that direction anyhow, so we can head by that cab over cab as well since we're going back that way. Some more Mopar stuff. This is actually kind of the other side of where we walked by earlier. 73 Cutlasses. Do not have any 73 Cutlasses at all right now. Some Chargers, 73, 74 Chargers. Chevy pickup that's kind of out of place. Needs to get back in order. There's a really cool looking car. 1942 Plymouth Business Coupe. 1940 Plymouth Business Coupe on the other side of it. 54 Plymouth two-door station wagon sandwiched in between them there. Kind of some unique stuff. Some more Dodge cabs that need to get put away. And we'll head over here towards, back down this row of cabs to get to that Ford that somebody wanted to see. 54 Bel Airs. I've got several of those 53, 54 Bel Airs. Brandon loved the coupe. So it depends on what you need for the 54 Bel Air. I've got several of those in stock. I'm not near any of them right now. That was actually just where we were just at, was over there in the 50s era GM stuff. But here's that Ford. This is the only one of that 60s era Ford cab over that I've got. Just the cab, just the sheet metal is all I've got on that particular cab over. No 55 Nomads at all, B. Richards. So not extremely rusty, but kind of banged up, beat up, lots of bits and pieces there. So let's wander off this way. Let's wander over here to what I call the new yard. If you've been hanging out with me for a while, you know I just got this bought a couple of years ago. All this stuff over here, well, with the exception of a few things like that Sport Fury that just came in, all this stuff over here has been hung up in an estate for decades. I just finally got it bought. Oh, Bitlow was trying to add a pic, so it didn't go. Glide the Car Guy says cool COE. This stuff over here, it's all unorganized, it's all overgrown. This I bought as a unit from an estate. It literally has been here right next to me for years. Old car nut, Russ from upstate, 71 to 74 Chargers. Just walked past them. Yes, I do still have the 53 Dodge pickup with tire chains on it. In fact, it's pretty close. We may walk by it here in a little bit. Jason, yay, love the new yard. So I call this the new yard. It literally ran right alongside my property. I tried to buy it for 20 years. I tried to buy it before I bought the yard I own now. No 68, 69 Torino fastbacks at all. Just the Ranchero and a Squire are the only thing I've got in 68, 69 Torino Fairlane bodies. So all this stuff here is just basically unorganized. I've got to get to work in here, but obviously, like a lot of you guys know, I haven't had a loader for 5 months and things have been kind of slow going. So, but anyway, what's in the buildings? Cars and parts, just like everywhere else. Here's the Sport Fury that Dalton just brought in from Pole Barn Garage. We just unloaded this one. I had a spot here, so I threw it over here on the edge over here in the new yard. So that one just came in from Dalton, and he stickered it up. Our good friend Buzz at Roadkill Customs, he's helped out with this project. He helped get Dalton and I together. Be sure to check out Roadkill Customs. Buzz gets on with us on Sunday Night Live Chat. He's got a great website, tons and tons and tons of DIY information on there, chassis swap information, bolt pattern information, engine and transmission swap information. So Jeff from Ottawa's on. That's all right, Dan. We'll get over by that truck in a little bit. So be sure to check out roadkillcustoms.com. Buzz is a great guy, and he's helping out Dalton and I real well, help put this deal together. So we're bringing you a full walk around on that Sport Fury here in the very near future, as well as the content with the Roadrunner and the stuff from Pole Barn Garage. So anyway, we're going to wander around a little bit in here. And like I said, you never know what's going to pop up in here because there is no rhyme nor reason to anything in here. Jason needs some roadkill stickers. Check him out. Check him. I'm sure Buzz can hook you up. 67, 68 Cougars. I've got one, but there's not much left of it. It's over in a different part of the yard, over with some Ford stuff. Sport Fury. Yep, that's the Sport Fury that just came in from Pole Barn Garage. So you can kind of see there's just stuff scattered over here, wherever, whenever, however. So you never know what we're going to see now. So, but as always, if you want to see something, let me know. We'll sure try to squeeze it in. Short bed, half-ton Chevy pickup. I've done a lot of walk-around videos over here over the last couple years. Those are all up. You just have to go back and sort through them a little bit. Are they scratch and sniff? Nope, I don't think they're scratch and sniffed. How about a 64 Comet that, and this is kind of a cool car. That's why I want to show it to you. 64 Comet, two-door hardtop, big hole hacked in the hood, hood pins, radius rear wheel wells. Yep, I think this car was a gasser at one point in its life. Somebody put some clutch pedals in it. So either it was a gasser or it was going to be a gasser. Eloy 47 Fleetline body, you just walked by. How's the body? I'd have to go through the fleet lines I've got and see. Gasser 61, love the yard tours, pity I'm on the other side of the universe. So, yep. 35 Oldsmobile, Ford Maverick, Cadillacs. Got a whole bunch of Cadillacs right here in this group. Amy says that truck looks cool. 67 to 70 Mercury Cougars. I've got 168, 67 or 68, but like we just talked about, not much left of it. Over in a different part of the yard, though. We might be able to work our way back over here after a bit. Another Cadillac. Big old 63 Fleetwood. This is a cool caddy right here. 66 Limo. That's right, Guy the Car Guy. There's some fins. That's absolutely right. In fact, this 61 Coupe de Ville that I'm standing right in front of, Jason needs the Fleetwood letters. Look at the fin on this thing. I mean, I think it's almost like a weapon. I mean, you could back into somebody with that thing and that is going to hurt. GTOs are T37s. Don't have any T37s, but I do have a lot of A-body Pontiacs. Just depends on what year we're talking about. 62 Caddy two-door. Don't have any 62 two-doors. The 61 I've got is a coupe. But I've got two 62s right there. They are both four-door hardtops. Eddie, any first or second gen Firebirds? No first gen. I've got tons of second gens. '64 Galaxy. There's the old Dodge. 53 Dodge half-ton short bed pickup. That old truck there still got some potential, I think. And it's got these big old beasts of a set of tire chains on it too. Pretty cool. Definitely, you know, going back in time there when you check something like that out that was just parked exactly like that. Some old chassis. You know, kind of looks like some junk there, but there's actually some pretty cool pieces in here. If you're building a rat rod Ford truck, how'd you like to have this for your flatbed? Jason says loves the patina. Yep. Factory flatbed for a 40s era Ford pickup. So this one's a little tough. It's got some rust out, but that is a factory Ford flatbed. kind of a cool piece, especially if you're building a rat rod Ford truck. You bet, Dan, no problem. So we'll run around over here a little bit. I know we've had a few people ask about Cougars, so we might try to work our way back over some more of that Ford stuff. But like I said, anybody wants to see anything, be sure to throw it up there. We'll sure try to squeeze it in. And like I told you, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this stuff over here. This is exactly how I bought it. Got a lot of cleanup work to do, a lot of organizing to do, but at least I own it. So Pete says the flatbed's cool. Yeah, it is cool. I've actually got 4 or 5 factory Ford flatbeds. I've got 2 of the pickup ones and like 3 of the big truck ones for like an F4, F5. 68 Impala. Are you in the area where the fire was? Pretty close to it. Yeah, we can swing over by there. Kind of an odd looking wagon. 67 Biscayne. I don't have any full-size 67 Chevys at all, Brandon. But kind of a weird looking roof on this one. The roof rack is clear forward. It's got this big panel here. No 70 Firebirds at all. No, do not have any actual 1970 Firebirds at all right now. Yep, this panel slides forward. This is a Studebaker Lark Wagonaire. So kind of an odd car you don't see very often. Little Rambler sedan. 73 El Camino, 50 to 52 International, 71, 72 Ford pickup. That is a rare Studi, that's right. 53 Bel Air 2-door hardtop. Catalina. Yeah, I have pieces I've showed that car in a prior video. I've showed all these cars in videos at one point. Candle and 46 to 48 Chevy cars, but I want to see everything. Yeah, and I don't have them all in one area yet, so we'll catch a few of them here as we work our way through these videos and catch some of the 46 to 48s as we're walking around, but I don't have them all in one spot. 69 Chevelle, I've got 1 4-door body that there's not much left of and 1 2-door body that there's not much left of. So Dan says that Lark's rare. Yeah, it's kind of neat. 58 Ford panel truck over there next to another Studebaker Lark. Some 34, 35 Chevy trucks. So we'll walk over by where the fire was at real quick. I think Bill asked about that. And so you can kind of see it really was not, fortunately, was not too big of a deal. So that's right where it ended, just right there. Kind of burnt this one little area. Didn't really hurt anything. It HG Big Twin, big tons of cool stuff. So that's where it happened. It kind of scorched the front of that Chevy pickup a little bit, but otherwise, Jason needs some of that yard art. You can see the front of these Chevys didn't even affect any of those. So just that one little spot. We'll kind of work our way up this direction. I know there's a few 47, 48 Chevys up here. We'll catch a few of those. Willie's Aero Falcon, that's definitely a car you don't see very often. Edsel Citation, 58 Citation. How about the lovable and cute Henry J? Yep, there's one right there. There's one of the 47, 48 Chevys. We'll catch that while we're close to it. That's right, Dan says it was some late night weed control. Yep, that it was. Hopefully as I get these cars sorted and moved, I can get the weeds and stuff under control over here. Believe it or not, the weed situation over here is way better than it was. The back part of this yard 5 or 6 years ago, you literally could not even see the cars because the Johnson grass had gotten so bad that it had literally overtaken the back part of the yard. So fortunately, you know, you've got it under control enough where you can at least see everything because you literally couldn't see the cars. BW, take a sip if he spots a Hudson in the yard. There you go, BW. If we see a Hudson, you can you can take a sip. There's another 47-48 Fleet Line. So anybody who doesn't know what they're talking about, that's kind of an inside joke. If you hang out with us on Sunday night, I've got a Hudson badge that every time we flash the Hudson badge, everybody takes a drink. So I guess we got to try to find some Hudsons for everybody today. So we'll walk past a few more here. Old Rambler 4-door. Corvair. And Hudson badge. There you go, everybody. Everybody's getting thirsty. There's a Hudson badge for you. This is like a 55 or 56 Hudson Wasp. Yep, there's a Packard right there. I don't have a ton of Hudsons, so you guys may have to just kind of go on your own or pick out another one to go with this for this live. Kaiser, another 47-48 era Chevy, 60 Mercury. Number one says eat a chocolate Easter egg for every Hudson. That doesn't sound like a bad plan. Pete, do you know what all the vehicles you gained with the purchase of that yard? I got a pretty good idea what's here. I forget a few here and there, but I got a pretty good idea. How about a pair of Frasers? That's something you don't see very often. A pair of Frasers sitting right next to each other. There's a 52 Chevy 4-door, 63 Bel Air 4-door. How about a concrete mixer? Yep, I don't have any idea what this thing's doing in here. I don't know why it's here. I don't know where it came from, but it was sitting here when I bought it. It's cool. It's a big utilitarian industrial looking beast. A Ransom 14S concrete mixer. Number one's bidding $8 on the concrete mixer. Look at the chain on this thing and this big control wheel. This thing was a brute. It's super cool looking. I don't think it's really good for anything, but it's super cool looking. Has a little engine on it over here. A little Leroy engine mounted to the side of it. Kind of a neat deal. Like I said, it ain't good for much other than yard art, but it's a pretty cool piece of yard art. 64 Ford Custom. How about a big old Cadillac? Scrap metal on that would pay for a couple of cars. Yeah, just about would. Jason wants that badge. Another old Chevrolet. Vega, 49 Dodge. 49 Plymouth Suburban, that's pretty cool. Oh, the Econoline. Well, we'll catch the Econoline on the way back, so. Oh, his grandpa's name was Leroy. Funky windows. We'll swing back by the Econoline here in a little bit. There's another Packard, little Falcon. How about a Hudson? Salty Reese's politician chipper. Pete loves the Vega. Number one pre-90s Orphan makes and unicorn cars with the yard walk drink signs. There you go. So there's a 48 Plymouth, 55 Cadillac we're coming up on. There's another Mustang, 41 Buick, and a Hudson, another Hudson. This is an odd little Hudson, actually. This is a jet. Actually, this is a super jet. The Hudson Super Jet. Got a couple of these little jets here. They're really unique little cars. What year is the Falcon? 6061. William, finally able to get on due to the storms pushed through a few days ago. Still frequent buffering. Pete says the scoop on the Hudson was cool. Yeah, BW, that's a neat badge. So yeah, and actually this scoop here, if that's the scoop you're talking about, I've actually got an extra one of those scoops. So if that's the one you thought was cool, I don't know when your comment came through, but I've got an extra one of those. That little Falcon there, it's got the concave grill, so I think that one's a 60. I've got several early 60s Falcons in stock. We're coming up on another one here in just a second. There's the remains of an old AA truck. Not much left there, the chassis, the cowl, a few other bits and pieces, but. And here's a 61 Falcon 4-door. 36 Chevy. All kinds of stuff scattered everywhere. Let's kind of work our way back over by that Econoline, and then we'll kind of work our way back over into the other yard and kind of check out some more stuff over there. Had some requests to go by some of those other Fords, so we'll try to work our way over that direction. A couple more old bodies, like a 35 Chevy, 46, 47 era Ford, 39 Plymouth sedan. There's the other another Hudson Jet. Kind of take a quick look at that. Those are small little cars, 54, 3, 4, 5 era Hudson Jets. How about the big old Dodge Polara? In fact, yep, there's a good looking badge right there. Let's catch that one. This is a fancy Hudson badge. It's a Hudson Jet. Plymouth Coupe, 47, 48 Plymouth Coupe. Corvair. Old Packard Clipper. And there's the little Econoline. Two Jets, that's bananas. Yep, that is kind of odd. Little Ford Econoline van. And there's also a little Chevy van sitting here right next to it. This one has a custom house window in the side of it. Couple of Vegas hiding back in there. 60 Chevy pickup with a stack of bumpers on the back. Pinto, Corvair. 3rd gen Econoline. I'm gonna guess we're talking late 70s up into the 80s on that. Pete says I saw more Vegas. Yep, Pinto. I do, if that's the body style of Econoline we're talking about, I do have some of those. I've got a couple of the 69 to 74s. 70 Vista Cruisers, nope, nothing there. 75 to 90 Ford Econoline. Okay, there's one over here. There's very little left of it. And then I've got 2 or 3 more of them as well. We'll catch this one here real quick because we're standing here. Yeah, that was some yard art, Jason. That was some pretty rough stuff. But since somebody saw this bigger Econoline van, we're going to show it to you real quick. We had this in an earlier video. This thing is pretty rough, but it's funky. Yep, this was a funky 70s van. It got hit years ago. But check out these side windows in it. Would you sell the Pinto? Someone around here looking for one? I've got a couple of Pintos, so it just depends on what they want. Funky side windows, funky stripes, and of course inside, this thing is head to toe shag carpet. Oh yeah. Before this thing got wrecked, this thing was big styling. There is no doubt about it. Blick says he's building a funky 88, so yeah, I think these vans are making a comeback. He wants the windows. Some girl's dad ran that van off the road. That very easily could have been what happened. I'm not gonna argue that point. 62 Chevy pickup. But yes, I am a believer that those big vans are coming back. If you saw the recent videos, the 84 Econoline, the 86 Dodge, the 74 Econoline, all those vans just recently came in. So I snatched them up when I found them because I think there's going to be a market for them. Number one, you can see the black light from the moon. It's got so much DNA in that carpet. So blick, blick, don't laugh, your mother's in here. But, and the thing about those vans is they were really, really easy to fill with iron and get crushed because they weighed up really, really nice when you filled them with iron. Price on the Blue Vega, I'd have to look it over and see how good it is. I don't even remember what all it needs. Jason's throwing up because of the DNA comments in the Econoline van. Another row of Corvairs sitting there. '66 Biscayne. The only I've got full-size '66, I think, is an Impala as far as a complete car. A few more over here. 73 Impala two-door hardtop. 88 Buick Estate Wagon. A couple of the small Rivieras from the late 80s. 79 Caprice Estate Wagon. And let's head this direction. Mike, wagons are going to come back as well. Wagons are going bonkers. Wagons are cool. I love them. I grab every one I can get. So we'll cut through some more of these cabs. Diesel wagon. Nope, those wagons were not diesel. Any complete 66 Chevy wagon. I don't have anything complete on a 66 Chevy wagon. I have stripped out a couple of 66 Chevy wagons. So I've got a lot of parts for 66 Chevy full-size wagons, but no cars. More beds, more cabs. Anybody building the 48 to 52 era short bed Ford rat rod? There's a super cool bed for a 48 to 52 era Ford. Somebody was building a rat rod patina type truck. You got to check out the floor in this thing. Still got the original tailgate. Look at the bed floor. Don't have any 68 Impala wagons either. Yep, somebody made the bed floor out of mobile gas porcelain signs in this thing. 87 Fox Body Thunderbird, do not have any of those either. Nice walkabout between buffering, so well, hopefully it's hanging in there for everybody. And hopefully the sound's hanging in there since I'm using a different mic, so. Wagons are too much to do on a long weekend, even with a dozen YouTube workers working on it. So, how about 48 to 53 era GM cabs? A couple of rows of them right there. Sound is still good, perfect. I hope you guys like this new mic. It seems to be working out pretty well. I've been pretty happy with it. So, Jason says he's not buffering. What's the best way to contact me? Says the sound is great. 57 Hudson 4-door, Hornet 4-door. I don't think there's one of those over there. Best way to contact me is 620-786-4428. After we get done, give me a shout, or give me a shout next week. I've got supper tonight actually at Mom and Dad's, so we'll be out there. But 620-786-4428. I'll try to remember to put that in the post, in the text of this post after we get done. That's the only way to contact me, so we can have a short conversation about your project, what you need, year, make, model, body style, all that information that I need to know if I've got something here that might be able to help you out. So text, emails, that stuff just doesn't work, so I don't even mess with it. Is that Chevy van with the, is that the Chevy van with the turbine wheels on it? Yes, it is. 1974 Chevrolet Beauville. Sport Van 30 1 ton. What's the price on the 60 White Falcon? I have to go back and look at it and take a look it over. So yeah, any of this stuff you want specifics on as far as details, prices, best thing to do is give me a shout so I can look it over. We can get into the details. I can send you more detailed pictures, and we can discuss it. So, but that is a pretty cool old van. Chrome grille in that Beauville. Are all 4 there? I don't think so. I think there's only 3 actually. I got this side, I've got both of them. We'll walk around the other side. For some reason I was thinking there was just 3, but we're gonna find out. Yep, it's just 3. The right front is a plain steel wheel. So yep, I've just got the 3 is all that's there. Monte Carlo, a few more Buicks from Dad's that need to be put away. Whole bunch of Roadmasters, 1949 Roadmaster, 1950 Roadmaster, 1951 Roadmaster. Here's some new meat that just came in. I hope you guys saw the video on that. Is that a Buick next to the Chevy van? Yep, that was the 49 Roadmaster that we were just standing in front of. All 3 of those are Roadmasters, a 49, a 50, and a 51. Here's the 57 Roadmaster that I just picked up. I hope you guys caught the video on that the other night. That's such a cool car. Of course, I love 57s anyway. So that is a neat car loader with options. There's a unique one. This video is going to be coming up probably this week. It is shot. It is in the can. 1960 Parkwood station wagon, loaded to the gills with options, power steering, power brakes, electronic eye, factory air, really rare loaded up wagon. How about a 71 Mustang, 68 El Camino? This stuff is just dumped here because there was a place to slide it off the trailer. This stuff's only been here a week or 2, so videos coming up on all of that stuff for sure. Jason likes the Monte as well. Yeah, those 75, it's kind of rough around the edges, mostly there, but kind of rough around the edges. No 59 Impala 2-doors. Show trunk of Monte. Well, let me run back over there. There's an 80 Chevy pickup. 59 Edsel, Pontiac, 72 Dart. We'll swing back over to that Monte Carlo since we've had a lot of questions about that. Some 55 Pontiacs, International Scout. Let's swing back over here, right behind this Ford pickups where this Monte Carlo's hiding. So this car is mostly intact. It's just kind of banged up and a little rough around the edges. Had a partial vinyl top on it, so it kind of pitted the roof some. I actually got a few rust holes in the roof. So that's kind of rough there. Banged up on the quarter panel. What year's the pickup? That is a 46, 47 Ford. There's the Monte. 67 to 72 Chevy pickup body panels. I've got some, just depends on what you need. Either of those 80s pickups are perfect. Just need a painter to pinstripe. Nobody's on the door. So there's the old Monte. How much for the pickup? There again, I don't know if we're talking about the Ford or what. Just if you've got specific questions on specific things, prices, details, things like that. You know, we've got 72 people on right now, so I don't want to stop and and go get into all the details. So just give me a shout after we get done. The Monte had swivel buckets, but they are gone. I did sell them. So some G-body Regals, a bunch of this stuff right in this middle area, stuff that came in from Dad's that hasn't been sorted, plus a lot of stuff I was dragging in at the same time, kind of got buried in around it. Brett, I remember when NASCAR ran those Monte Carlos. Yep, that was pretty common back in the 70s. Another Ford van, a 69 Econoline. Pink Edsel, pink 59 Edsel. Chevrolet Love. 57 Bel Air, the remains of. Had a couple questions about Cougars. Here's one right here. We could build a nasty 4-door Dart with a Hemi. That's the only late 60s Cougar I've got right now, and like I said, not a heck of a lot left of it. Pretty stripped down. Some more Falcons, another batch of Falcons, a couple of wagons, a little 2-door. Mustang 2, something you don't see very often. 79 Cutlass, I've got one that I think it's a 78 over there. It's the only one I've got in 78, 79 era. But 58 Edsel 2-door hardtop, 67 Galaxy 2-door hardtop. 64 Ford Custom, 2-door post, a couple of Thunderbirds back there, another Falcon. '79 T-Bird. Old Mercury coupe body, like a 47, 48 Mercury coupe body. '62 Fairlane. Metropolitan. Bill says, sounds good. Video's buffering on his end, so hopefully the buffering isn't too bad on most of you guys. Hopefully it's hanging in there, so. '80 Regal, I don't think I've got any that are an '80. We can head back there towards the G bodies. We're not terribly far away from them and walk through some of them. So Mike says everything's hanging in there good on his end, good. So hopefully the buffering is limited to certain areas, and for the most part, most of you guys are hanging in there. So Bill says audio's still great. Malibus. That's right, Guy the Car Guy, you're 100% right. Those were all someone's car at some point with a story. Every single one of these, you know, was somebody's new car at some point, and, you know, meant a lot to them. And you're right, they do have a lot of stories, and that's what's cool about it. That's part of the reason I started doing a lot of these videos, is, you know, to talk about the cars and where they've been and where I found them. I try to show you guys a lot of times where I do find them, things like that, to kind of help, you know, tie some of those stories together. Just like the '66 Catalina that I just traded for the '67 Grand Prix. You know, that tied Susan's story together from back when she drove a '66, back when it was her first car, things like that. So, coming up on a batch of these G bodies. They're not all here, but most of them are here. There's a Malibu, a Monty, a few Regals. So some miscellaneous G bodies in here. '76 Cutlass A body mixed in there. Another Regal, a couple of Cutlasses. Malibu wagon. BW, this is an awesome live. Might have to mix a yard walk in once in a while. Any '69 GTO parts? Very little '69 stuff. Classic Ride Society's on. Glad you're on with us. He wants to come up and make a video too. That'd be cool. Looking for possibly a complete body of a '67 to '72 Chevy pickup. I've got a pretty nice '70 we walked past a little bit ago. We can go walk over around that truck here in just a second. We're not too far away from it. William, great. '57 Roadmaster is indeed a great line of Buick cars. Yep, I was excited about that car. Matt loves the yard walks. But we can head over and walk around that '70 Chevy pickup, since we're not terribly far away from it. And kind of give you a quick glimpse at it. It's a pretty good truck. Need front bumper fillers for an '80 Regal. I think everybody needs bumper fillers for an '80 Regal, so. My '78 Regal's been in dry storage for 25 years, and the bumper fillers fell out of that car, and it hasn't seen daylight in 25 years, and they fell out. And they were fine when I put it in storage, so. I don't think there is a good answer for Regal bumper fillers right now. '61 Chevy short bed, '83 Ford pickup. Here's this '70 C10 half-ton long bed. Do I have any '57 F100 tailgates? I think I'm out of those, Bob. I think I'm actually out of that gate. I've got piles and piles and piles of tailgates in the building, but I think that is one that I am out of. Well, there might be one over there that might need some work, so. I might have one that's fixable. William, the '57 Roadmaster video was fantastic, so glad you enjoyed it. So if you want to give me a shout on that tailgate, I can double check and see if that one was still over there on the other side. There's this '70 C10, and this is a pretty solid old pickup. It screams potential. Yeah, it does. This is a pretty good truck. I found rust in one, I thought that door opened. Yeah, there we go. In one of the cab mounts, a little bit right there in the rocker. If you guys remember, this was the truck with J.C. Penney air conditioning. Yep. Foremost, this still has a sticker under the hood. with the JCPenney add-on air conditioning. And yes, JCPenney air conditioning was a big, big deal back in the 70s. They put tons and tons of them on. Tailgate for a 67 Jeep Kaiser, do not have anything on that one. I know I don't have that one. So this old 70 Chevy pickup is a pretty decent old truck and definitely has a lot of potential for sure. In fact, I don't know if you guys can still see it, but it still has both original hubcaps on this side. The other side still has one original hubcap on it. So yeah, no one does on that Jeep tailgate. Yep, classic ride size. Sears has air conditioning. Cool Chevy truck, wish it was a manual. In fact, I'll see if I can get the hood open. Bear with me here, and I'll see if I can get the hood open on this thing. And yes, here you go. There's the sticker, JCPenney's Foremost Air Conditioner. You can see the add-on compressor, hoses running through the firewall into that aftermarket box. So yep, original JCPenney's air conditioning. So also power brakes, power steering, fairly well equipped for, you know, an old 70 C10 work pickup. And I do have a full walk around video on this truck as well after we get done. You can go check that out and check that truck out a little bit more as well. So anyway, where else are we heading? What else do we want to see? There's a 53 Bel Air. Had somebody asking about 54s earlier. There's a 53. 23-inch Plymouth engine or parts. That's like a 223, I'm guessing. It depends, and I don't know everything off the top of my head. It just depends all on what used them and things like that. But very complete intact 53 Bel Air. Cutlass 70s, not sure where you're at on that. Located in Great Bend, Kansas is actually where I'm located at. So I am not open to the public, so if you are coming through, you will need to contact me and set up an appointment. I ship almost everything and I don't have time to be open to the public. So a couple of 90 GMCs, yeah, it's kind of crazy to think those trucks are 32 years old now. How about some Lincolns? A pair of Suicide Lincolns. A 68 and a 62, I think was what the other one was, if I remember correctly. Both pretty rough, been sitting a long time. The 74 Z28 I haven't touched. I've been working on my 78 F250. So the 74Z actually got pushed off to the side of the lift, and I've got the 78 F250 on the lift right now. Oh, the 23-inch long blocks. I've got plenty of stuff that have those engines in them, but I don't know if, you know, don't know anything about them. Love the Suicide Lincolns. Classic ride side. I heard a pole barn is going to be heading your way. Nope, already been here and gone. He left a couple hours ago, and it was such a nice day that I figured we'd go ahead and jump on and do the live. But no, Dalton's on the way back with the Roadrunner right now. Can we see the 60s trucks in front of the old yard by the highway? If we get up that far, Brett, we're clear back almost towards the back of the yard, so we're a long ways from those trucks, but we'll try to get our way or get worked back that way here eventually. How's the interior in that 62 Continental? Rough. It's been sitting for a long time. 54 Chevy trucks, I've got a few of those as well, just depending on what you need. But yeah, this old 62 has been sitting for a long time. So it's a little rough. Lots of good, hard to find pieces there, but it's definitely, you know, weathered and aged. So most of it's there, but it's definitely showing its age. Classic Ride site, I just made a video on a 68 Continental two-door. Guy with the cargo bike says it's rebuilt. Yeah, anything's rebuildable, it's just the time and the money. TR4 convertibles don't have anything at all there. Let's work our way back up to some more trucks. A couple of bigger ones that came in recently, Chevy and a GMC. Chevy's a little bit rough. GMC's a clean old truck. In fact, they were still using this truck a couple of years ago, so I think this truck would actually run. shorter bed, like a 9-foot bed, I'm guessing, on that. So kind of a small little GMC farm truck. Big Dodge, International. Jump over here, we got kind of a, this kind of got to be a dumping ground as well. Several square bodies in here. That's right, Classic Ride Side. Continentals are expensive to restore. They're very expensive to restore. I've got a buddy who's actually doing a build on one. Be sure to check out Big Creek Restoration. You want to see a super cool Suicide Lincoln convertible going together. Check out Big Creek Restoration. And yeah, British sports car, that's kind of over my head. And you want to see what they're putting in this Lincoln. Yeah, because it's not getting a typical Ford V8, no. It's getting a Boss motor, so be sure to check out my buddy Mike Keller at Big Creek Restorations and check out this Boss motor Suicide Lincoln convertible they're building. It's pretty epic. So some rougher old square bodies here. You know, there again, these were work trucks. They were used hard. A couple more 72 Chevy pickups. Like I said, this area kind of got to be a dumping ground when it was a place to stash some stuff. Dodge pickup, 74 Granville convertible. Any 300 horse 327s, nothing that I know of. Nothing that I know for sure was an actual factory 300 horse 327. 64 Impala. There's the fourth wheel for the van on the blue square body. Yeah, I think there might be actually, now that you mentioned that. 51 Roadmaster 2-door hardtop. 52 Pontiac. Yes, the Caprice cop car is here. I have not done a video on it yet, but it is here. 63 Valiant. So, yep, there's a fourth wheel right there. If it's the same width and offset, there is a fourth turbine wheel there to go with with that other batch. Here's a cool little project pickup. 1968 Dodge half-ton short bed. V8 automatic. Kind of a unique truck. It was an adventurer, but the trim is missing. But it is a factory V8 automatic. I have a big block 455-63 Chevy truck rat rod, straight body, no rust, that I have no interest in. Yeah, if you call me, yeah, if you want to trade for something else, yeah, just give me a call. We can sure talk about it. Because I do take trade-ins as well, just obviously like on the Pontiac swap video. Definitely take trade-ins. Took a trade-in with Dalton on the Roadrunner today. So this little Dodge has a lot of potential for sure. Little square S10. What's kind of interesting about this square S10, this is a super, super, super early production S10. This truck was built, I don't remember, I'm going to look and see at the build date on this thing. Yeah, this truck was actually built November of '81. So this is a really early S10. Not that it really matters, it's just kind of cool to, you know, that's probably one of the first production S10s in this area. I bought that off the farmstead where it went when it was brand new. That Dodge doesn't look as rusty in a short bed too. Would you cut out a lower passenger side door hinge and frame out of a 57 Ford car? I don't have any 57 Ford cars at all right now. Number one says, there it is, give away the S10. But yeah, anyway, this Dodge is pretty solid. It's got a little bit of rust in it. That's a good point, Mike. We'll go ahead and peek inside of it real quick here. It's got a spot of rust right there and a spot of rust right there. But overall, floors look good. Clean some of the dirt out of this thing. Any use for an 03 Honda V6 automatic? I don't have any use for it. But I mean, the steps are good in this thing. The rockers look good. Original dash cluster with the kind of the engine turning on it. See the factory automatic shifter. So yeah, this, like I said, this truck's going to make somebody a great project. How's the 60 Parkwood wagon? It's rough, but it's going to be a great parts wagon. I'll have a full video up on it here soon. But it's loaded with options: steering, brakes, air, and electronic eye. So 51 Ford car, 52 Ford truck. 48 to 50 era Ford truck. How about an international tow truck or big old wrecker winch truck? 50 to 52 L series, L130 is what this one was, from a welding and blacksmith shop in Hoisington, Kansas. Brett likes the Dodge as well. Big old huge flatbed on this international dually. Big pipe rack on it. Custom built winch truck. Lots of stuff here. How about an old Viking? 59 Chevy Viking. These badges definitely made a statement. Need front and rear seat back and bottom for 51 Ford Victoria. Don't have anything there at all. I've got one Victoria, but I know there's no seat, no back seat in it. A lot of these are kind of some big trucks. This is kind of a mismatch because these are like a lot of these bigger trucks that still had beds on it. Peter just made it from Oz. Glad you're on. So you can see a lot of these are grain trucks or bigger trucks that still had beds on them, or at least the big long extended chassis. So I kind of put them all in this area so that, you know, because it is odd lining them up, but you know, obviously there's a Ford, big Jimmy, a few more internationals, another big international. Classic ride side, what condition is the Torino wagon and the Elite? The Torino wagon I have not picked up yet. The Elite looks like a pretty decent car. Number one is the Ford two-door in the bed, that grain bed, free with purchase. There's not a lot left of it. That's actually why it's in there. I've actually got a pair of them. There's a 35 stacked on the back of that Jimmy. And there's a 37 stacked in the back of this Chevy. But there's not much left of those bodies. That's why they're in there. So yeah, the Elite's here. Have not done a video on it yet, but it is here. Some more old Chevy trucks. This is a unique body back here. Not a lot left of it. Somebody could have put a really crude roof patch over the top of the whole roof. But this car is actually a 37 Packard. Brad, I knew a guy in Everett, Washington had a 68 Dodge pickup with a NASCAR 440 Max wedge. Yeah, I'm sure he did probably have trouble keeping rear tires on it. So like I said, not a heck of a lot left of this old body, but it was, or you know, still somewhat is, a 1937 Packard. Came in with some other stuff that I bought. Not a lot left of it. Matt, it'd be fun just to walk around and look. Randy, late to the party. What's up? Glad you made it. Jason's got to jump off. Do I have any 6288 parts cars? I've got one. I've got one four-door and a 6288. So the old Packard's kind of neat. One of the reasons I wanted it, like I said, I got it on a bulk deal with some other stuff, but it had the original Packard tag on it, so I took it off. So kind of a neat piece there as well. As we walk around a few more of these bigger trucks, 100 bullet holes away from being a Bonnie and Clyde car. Yep. What series is that Civic Viking? I think it was a 60. Any complete 60s El Caminos? As far as complete, I've got a 68 and a 71 that are complete. I don't have any 64 to 67s at all. Studebaker truck. This pile of parts here was a big D Series International. Brett loves the yard walk. Thanks for doing it. Well, appreciate you guys being on here. That's what makes it happen. That's what makes it work. So this was a somewhat partially wooden structured cab. We can see a little bit of wood in there. This was like a 38 International. It was a big D Series, almost like a tractor series. In fact, that was the air compressor off of it. This had a big, huge inline engine with dual carbs on it. It was a super unique unit. But like I said, with the wooden structure, it just kind of fell apart. So a few more Internationals. This one was a 36, not a lot left of it. Any old tractors? I don't do anything with tractors, Brett. I got a buddy out in western Kansas who's a tractor guru. If I got a question about tractors, I just send it to him. Another international. This is a pretty unique body here. It's really, really rough. Not much left of it at all. But this was a 40 to 47 Ford panel truck. You can see the body line in it. No frame, no chassis under it. Somebody converted this into a school bus. The Sherman County District number 2. I mean, somebody even hacked into the body. I mean, the body is rough. But this was an old, it's actually a panel that somebody converted into a school bus. And how do you say it's converted? Well, when we look inside, I'll try to get up there and take a look. And BW, take your welding gear to Kansas and do a yard build. That'd be pretty unique, that's for sure. We'll step back and take a little bit of a look at this thing. But like I said, it's so rough, but I'll try to get up here inside and show you what they did to this thing to make it a school bus. Now, we can see the benches here. Here's one of them, and here's the other one. They actually had brackets on them, as well as legs, to where these brackets would bolt back here into this wood, and then they had the support legs for the kids to sit. And this was actually fairly elaborate for the time. It'd be a neat monster truck, yeah. We'll climb in here and take a look at what they did. That's one scary school bus, yes it is. But they actually built these sides in here. These actually had, I assume these windows open. They have some sort of a crank mechanism. I have not taken any of these sides out. But we can see how they cut these holes in the sides of it, finished it all out with metal, built these inside panels, and they did this on both sides. Every one of them has a crank mechanism. So I'm sure there was at least some way to crank these windows a little bit. Hello from Michigan. Just found your channel about a month ago. Been watching. Glad you're on with us. Thanks for hanging out. But we can get a little better look there of the way they cut these holes in, finished these out. I mean, this was a pretty elaborate deal. Is that a fleet line out the bus window? I don't think there's any fleet lines, Chevys anywhere near where we're at right now. So pretty unique deal the way they put this thing together to make it to basically build a school bus out of a panel truck. Mike, a ton of work went into that bus. I wonder how old it was when it was converted. Don't really know, have no clue. But definitely a unique deal. In fact, if we look over here, I just noticed this. There's the window channels with part of the glass still in them that fell out of those side panels. So, really unique deal, really unique design. Do you have any 60s Chargers? I've got one 66 is all I've got in 60s Chargers. So let me see if I can get down off this thing in one piece. We'll see if we can kind of take a look at this side of it. There we get a little better look at the Sherman County District. Is this being recorded for later viewing? Yeah, I'll go ahead, it's going to be posted. I'll go ahead and leave it up. So, Sherman County District number 2. And like we talked about earlier, guys, if you have questions, give me a shout tomorrow. Anything specific needs, prices, things like that. So yeah, so there was a number 1 school district as well. Yep. 620-786-4428. It's the only way to get a hold of me. Emails, texts, they never work. There's just too many variables in all this stuff. Give me a call, and so I can get your information about what you need, what you're looking for. With 1,500 cars and trucks on the ground, I've got a pretty wide selection, so I need as much information from you as possible. So there it is. We'll kind of step back, take a look at it, since everybody's been pretty excited about it. 63 Chevy ladder truck too. That's kind of a unique one. But there's the old, in fact, you can still see where the spare mount was on this side, where they had the spare tire mount on the passenger side of that 40 Ford panel body. So some Ford trucks. Here's some more of these factory Ford beds like we looked at earlier. Here's another pickup one. BW says that bus needs built. It would take a lot, that's for sure. There's another one of the pickup beds, factory Ford flatbeds. The one it's sitting on is actually a big truck bed like F4, F5, where it's got the Ford on the back. Any 63 Novas. I do not have any early Novas at all right now. I've got one bought. It's not physically here on the ground yet. It's a 62 or 63, but I don't have it here yet. So some Ford trucks. There's a 38, 39, 55, 48 to 50, a couple of 59s. Most of these are Fords. A few Internationals kind of worked in the mix here because they're kind of close. '41 Ford commercial. Do you have a chassis that bus could go on? Not an original one, no. But I mean, like I said, who knows what you wanted to set up on, or it depends on what you wanted to do with it, or what you wanted to create out of it. As to what chassis you'd want to use. There again, when you're looking at wheelbases and stuff like that, trying to figure some of that stuff out, Roadkill, Buzz and Roadkill, that's where he's got all that information. So anyway, Ford pickups, a few Internationals mixed in there. Here's some Studebakers and Internationals here. Grand Marquis swap, there you go. I am going to warn everybody, I just got my first low battery warning. So we are going to need to be wrapping up here sometime in the near future. So if there is something you want to see, something you're curious about, go ahead and throw it up there in the comments. Because probably here, maybe 10 minutes or so, I don't know. So, do you have any 67 Mustangs? I've got a couple of 67, 68 coupes, but there's not a lot left of them. Let's see. Didn't Ford buy out International at one time? I don't think so. Edsels, yes, I've got several Edsels. Probably at least a half dozen of them. We've looked at a few of them on this video. Not really close to any of them right now. I've got a 58 and a 59 we're kind of close to, but not right here. So, colors of Ford mixed in here, but lots of Internationals, lots of Studebakers. There's a D Series International, a couple of K Series Internationals, Studebaker, L Series International, another K Series International. It's been pretty windy here the last couple of weeks, so close to F bodies. Call you about a plastic bumper and T-top. Nah, F bodies are up towards the front. We may be able to catch a few of them. 60s Impalas, I've got a lot of 60s Impalas. Just depends on what we're talking about. We walked through a bunch of those earlier when we were in the 59 to 70 era GM full-size section. Another K Series International. Little Dodge that got kind of mixed in here. A100 van. Don't see those all the time anymore. What would be the price on an Edsel? There again, everyone's different. Completeness, condition, body style, things like that. So, 56 International four-wheel drive. Some more of these old Buicks. What's up with the KW cab over? That's some other guys that he won't get it out of my way. I've been telling him to get it moved and he won't get it moved, so I don't know what's going on with it. International used Ford parts, didn't they? I think on some stuff, yes. A100 front buckets, yeah, I think those seats are still in there. That truck does still have the bucket seats. But kind of up towards some of these 50s era GM cars. William, all sweet golden goodness and one, please keep up the good work. Well, thanks, I'm trying to. 47 Chrysler Windsor. I've never had a 47 Chrysler Windsor, Kevin, so I don't know for sure which. I don't know if it was a typo on that, but I don't have any 47, 48 Chryslers at all. I've got a 49, but I don't have any 47s or 48s. So anyway, we'll kind of wander around up here a little bit more. Like I said, we're probably down to the last 10 minutes or so. So if anybody have any comments, questions they want to throw up there, be sure to get them up there before the phone goes south on us, because I think we're getting towards the end since I've already gotten my first low battery warning. Some more of these GM trucks. We'll kind of circle around some of these. We didn't head back around any of these earlier. But this is pretty much all GM trucks. A lot of these are going to be getting moved so I can make room for more 50s GM cars. I've got so many of them that I need to get shuffled in here to try to somewhat keep this stuff organized. Just takes a lot of time to move all these cars. So Like I said, lots of 40s and 50s stuff in here. There's one of our 54 Chevys. We had a question about that earlier. I don't know if anybody's still on who asked about the 54 Chevy. Patriotic truck, yeah, that one is patriotic. 63 C10 doors. Don't have anything, everything I've got left in 60 to 63 doors needs, Chevy pickup doors needs lower skin patches. Structurally they're good, but they need lower skin patches. 48 Roadmaster stuff. I do have some 48 Roadmaster stuff. Tailgate's good for bench backs. I've got stacks of tailgates, just depends on what you're looking for. How many cars use that road in a day? I don't know. I get a lease on the billboard, so. Pete, you've got the cleanest yard I've ever seen. Well, I try. Any 60s GTOs, a few. Any old C60s, I want to make a rollback out of one. I've got some. Yeah, and like I said, just like the other video I posted a while back, I just did have a bunch more rock hauled in at the end of the year, and I need to have some more rock hauled in. To me, I'm not happy with it because I always know stuff that's out of place and it drives me nuts. But I do try to keep things picked up. I do try to keep things in order, try to keep things in rows. It doesn't happen. There's too much stuff out here. It's not perfect. We've had a ton of wind. There's a hood that the wind blew off. Actually, it's the hood off of this 50 right here that the wind blew off. As you guys know, I've been fighting a ton of wind these last couple of weeks. Of course, we're in Kansas, so it's not like I can't not expect to have wind, but that type of stuff always happens. Haroon's on with us. So I try to keep things up. I try to keep things in order. I try to keep things organized. It's just so difficult to do with this volume of stuff. Try to keep things in order. So, like I said, it's difficult to keep it perfect, but that's why I had all this rock hauled in. That's why I try to keep things situated and in order. 74 four-door Novas. I've got one, and we're actually kind of walking that way. We'll swing by it here in a second. Those Novas are kind of mixed in with some of these A bodies. So, like I said, I try. I do try to keep it picked up. It is a lot of work, but trying to keep it organized. It's time to start spraying weeds. I got a ton of weed spraying to do. But, all this, you can see where all the new rock was hauled in on top of the old rock. If you don't keep this stuff up and maintained, eventually it goes away. So, I did invest some money in some rock. I need to invest in some more rock here in the near future. Sounds good. Call me on that Nova. I can look it over and get you some more details on it. 74 Novas. Here's a little two-door right here. And I've got a little four-door back over here. There's the 74 four-door that I've got. Hopefully it's a main. Okay, yeah, well, I'll have to check the VEGA and show the Impalas again. All right, we'll work our way back towards that corner one more time, and that's probably going to about do it. We'll head back towards those full-size 59 to 70 era GM cars. And like I said, we're probably going to be about dead by then, I bet. So, as we head back there, because a lot of this stuff we've already seen, if you have questions, give me a call. 620-786-4428. Just give me a shout tomorrow. Give me a list of what you need. Front windshield. I don't know. Yep, that's a retract right there. I don't know which windshield we're talking about, but there's no way to ship windshields. I mean, it would take so much time and effort to do it. Do I have a crew that helps me? Nope, I do it all. Would you sell an Olds Vista Cruiser roof with all the glass? I will, but the problem is that glass is extremely rare and it's extremely valuable. So I can do it, but it's a pretty pricey proposition. I've had a lot of guys want me to do it, and it scares them to death when you add up what all the glass and all the trim and all the moldings and everything are worth. So, but we'll work our way back to those full-size 59 to 70 era GM cars. Hopefully we make it. We'll see what we do on battery life. If we get that far and walk through some more of that stuff, that'll probably about wrap us up. So if, like I said, get your questions, comments in. If not, be sure to jump on with us tonight, 7 o'clock Central Time, Sunday night live chat. Need to do a walkthrough at your dad's place. All the cars are here. The only thing he's got left is buildings full of parts and restored cars. All of his parts cars have been moved here. So We did do that though before we started moving them. So those videos are on the channel. If you want to see Dad's place before we started moving the cars, he had sold a lot of stuff off before we started moving them because he kind of thinned down. That was about 2 years ago, but those videos are on the channel. If you want to go back a couple of years, in fact, we kind of worked our way back down to the last car that we hauled here was the first car that he hauled in at his place. So pretty cool video there that I did. The 57 you got, I'd love to have one like that. Oh, probably the Roadmaster, I'm assuming, on that one, Peter, because that's a great car. But yeah, the videos from Dad's place, well, when we were hauling those cars, we did that a couple years ago. Those are on the channel. 39 Oldsmobile, do not have anything on a 39 Oldsmobile at all right now, Don. So we're working our way back towards the 59 to 70 era full-size GM. More cabs over here. I don't think we even caught some of this stuff. Some Corvette stuff, but very little Corvette stuff. Couple of mid-70s. The very, very minimal remains of a 66 Corvette, part of a 69 Corvette, so not much left in those piles. More truck cabs. Now these full-size Chevrolets back here, none of these are sorted yet because I have not put the Chevrolet section together yet on 59 to 70 era full-size. Peter says, hope the Roadmaster gets restored. That car is pretty far gone to restore. I mean, it could be done, but like we talked about a little bit ago, my Pontiacs are in line. There's my 59 to 70 Pontiacs. And as we get past the Pontiacs, I've got most of my Buicks done. I'm not done with Buick yet. After I get done with Buick, then I'll get to Chevrolet, Oldsmobile, and Cadillac. So if we look back here, Brett, you need a 57 Chevy two-door post, side rear window glass. I have those, okay? Here's where the start of the Buicks are, obviously starting with 59, going into 60, and then they go on back from there. So a lot of these Chevrolets are just getting dumped in this vicinity. There's a 63 Bel Air right there, 65 Impala, 65 Bel Air. So these things are just kind of getting shuffled into this area because this is where they're going to need to be. Another 63 Bel Air, 70 Impala Custom two-door hardtop, 69 Impala Custom two-door hardtop. The motor's gone, but it was a factory big block car. William, since I came on a bit late, I may have missed it. Yes, we will be back on at 7 tonight. The 70 or the 69 was a factory big block car. So yes, 7 o'clock tonight, Central Standard Time, Sunday night live chat. We will be on back again for that. We're going to auction off some cool pieces of memorabilia. We've got an awesome badge tonight, some oil cans, some trivia, a magazine to check out. 71 Chevy full size, I've only got one. That's right, it's a 2 cinder block car, that's right. So, there's the back of that 63 Bel Air, 64 Bel Air, Gasser 61, thanks for the tour, loved it. Best way to spend his Easter Monday in New Zealand. So 63 Impala 4-door hardtop, 63 Impala sedan, 64 Bel Air wagon. That's right, with the Hudson badge. We haven't found any Hudsons lately, so I bet you guys are getting thirsty. I know I'm getting thirsty. I emptied my water bottle a long time ago, so. So none of these early 60 Chevys were 409s. They were all just basic 327 or 6-cylinder cars. So there's a few of them in this window that I've got sitting around. There's another 64, 68, 61. But, you know, like I said, I've got them scattered around. I'm trying to get them back in this general vicinity. And there's another here. There's one more 63. And like I said, I've got several more that just haven't worked their way back here. So, but anyway, there's more of them, but that's what's made it back to the general vicinity of where they are supposed to be and where they are going to end up eventually. So anyway, that pretty much is going to wrap us up. I just got another low battery warning down to under 10%. So we better just go ahead and wrap this thing up because the phone's going to make us be done here pretty quick anyway. As always, thanks for watching. We had a great group on today. We had great comments. And Gal the Car Guy says thanks. He watched the ads. Super appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to click that subscribe button and definitely click that notification button. When we do these lives, you know, we do the lives from the yard occasionally. We do Sunday night chat live. We do Toy Tuesday live. We just check out some cool memorabilia or toys. So be sure to click subscribe and definitely click that notification button so you can hang out with us when we do this lives. Tonight, 7 o'clock. If you have not been on with us on Sunday night live chat before, 7 o'clock Central Time, I will jump on. What we're going to do is we're going to start out with open chat, industry news, what happened in the old car world this week. Any questions you guys may have, we're going to start out with that. We're going to check out 2 super cool badges. We'll start out with a badge, a really early, the old enamel badges from the 20s and 30s. We've got hundreds of cool ones of those. We usually start out with one of those. Then we'll jump forward a few decades into a newer badge or emblem. We'll talk about that. Sometimes we work in a hood ornament into that segment as well. So after that, we're going to auction some stuff off. Got some oil cans tonight. Got a super cool badge tonight, an old badge from like the 20s or 30s we're going to auction off tonight. So you don't want to miss that. We've got a super cool magazine we're going to check out. We always do a magazine from back in time, sometimes back into the 50s, sometimes up into the 70s. We check out a cool magazine. Tonight's magazine is going to be a little bit different because it's the magazine that we got in the viewer box the other night, and it talks a little bit, and the whole magazine talks about the car industry in 1965. And what's cool about it is, from what I've seen, for as much as things change, just as much stays the same. So we're going to get into that tonight. After we do the magazine, we're going to do some trivia. Somebody's going to win a prize in trivia tonight. As well as, then we're going to talk about the raffle. We've got a super great raffle going on this month. Sinclair porcelain pump plate is the top prize. Some new old stock Kansas license plates, a super cool oil can. And at the rate we're going, we get a few more people in the raffle. We're probably going to pull 4 names out this month at this rate. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some new inventory. We'll talk about the videos that are coming up. Bought a ton of cool parts this week. Bought more signs this week. So we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. So if you've not been on Sunday Night Live Chat with us at 7 o'clock Sunday evening, this is actually, believe it or not, I worked on it last night. I think this is episode number 108. Yes, 108 times we have gotten together and hung out on Sunday nights and talked about car stuff. So if you haven't caught that, be sure to jump on with us tonight. We have a lot of fun on there, have a great group on there. And the great thing about the group we have on there is even the stuff that I don't have answers for, typically somebody in the chat does. So we all help each other out, and it's a great time. So then Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, we'll do Toy Tuesday. We've got a viewer box to this week. Plus, we're probably going to crack out one of those new signs that I got this week, and I love this sign. Love this sign. I've been trying to buy